Today's video is not my usual topic, because today we are looking into a real monster. Most people don't believe in monsters. However, there's some that believe in the sleep paralysis demon. Some people believe in vampires, werewolves. Some people even believe in ghosts. But there is one monster I know that does exist. And that's a pedophile. Today, we're looking at the biggest predator currently roaming Fallout 76. Now, there has been a few pedophiles in the game to be chased off. However, this one is unlike no other. Honestly, the things I've heard about this person, the cases that have been told to me, the things I've heard of him saying online to other people, and I can truly say it's the most disgusting, vulgar person I've ever spoke to in my life, and genuinely it's pushed me to the point of making this video. Now we are gonna go through the iceberg and slowly work our way through. Now we will be going through the proof, the screenshots, even the video, and hopefully figuring out why this person has done these things. So let's get into this. Now, starting off small, I would just like to say I've known of Piffles for a long time, and now I can promise you now, his YouTube back then definitely was a dark place compared to what it is now. Back a few years ago, his content was concentrated on a lower age audience. There was a lot of Fortnite, there was a lot of random streaming videos, but what got me most was the daily Pokemon videos he was making. Yes, I don't know if there may be some people who remember. However, Piffles used to post a video nearly every day, opening Pokemon packs and getting excited over it. You know, that's normal, but it was the way he spoke in the videos. He speaks almost in a silly, entertaining manner, a childish manner. Now, where I'm going with this is, I believe he was trying to attract children to his channel. Now, without a doubt, opening Pokemon cards, streaming Fortnite, you know, no adult is going to watch that. He's not doing it for the content, because there is no content in that field. There's no views, there's no money, definitely not at the level he's doing it. And what threw me off most is, when you upload a YouTube video, you can actually choose to select whether it's made for kids or not. Now, on all of his videos back then, he had that selected, and he was getting views on his videos. He was getting a few hundred per video for a crappy Pokemon opening. He's took most of the videos down because I think he's realised his mistakes, and now he's impersonating some kind of big raider as a cover, all after these pedophilic accusations come out. Bearing in mind, I'd understand if this was a kid, but this is a grown man, a man older than me, most likely, and I'm quite sure he is. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible that he just wanted to entertain children and have a viewing from that, but the way he was doing it, it was not right. And after all these accusations, all the videos got removed. Now, he has still got some Fortnite videos up, but I'm sure after I've uploaded this, he's going to delete those too. And if you do get around to watching the videos, I would just like you to listen to how he talks and watch how he plays, because he is definitely a creepy individual when it comes to trying to entertain people through content. But one thing is for sure, one thing is set in stone, and that's, before this whole overboss thing, he was definitely trying to get the attention of kids, whether that was for entertainment purposes or something else. Now, moving along the iceberg, it wasn't just the YouTube videos he was acting like this in. He was actually seen doing this in game chat and talking like a child in game chat, befriending other children. It's even seen on some of his videos today, and he still talks like it in his videos today. And yes, even the ones that are Fallout related. And since then, he's recruited a bunch of people younger than him and formed some kind of clan. Because you will notice everybody with the clan tag BWB in their name in game chat, most of them have been underage. But you know, maybe he gets better company out of children. You know, that can be somewhat understandable, but there's a limit when there's multiple following you around into every lobby you go into. And the sad thing is that I've even met and spoke to a few of them myself, and genuinely, it just doesn't seem right. And what scares me the most is, I've noticed the more younger people under the age of 18 that are surrounded by him, depending on how full the lobby is the harder he tries to make people laugh and do silly voices and act really creepy. But the thing is, the kids don't see that, they find that normal. But adult to adult seeing another grown man have a conversation like that with a minor and speaking like that and acting like that around a bunch of minors is not normal. Now, upon learning the things Overboss was up to and the bad things he was involved in, FS as a clan targeted all of the people featuring in his videos, the constant people in his videos. And over time, we actually managed to scam 3 of his members. One of them being Karem here, which you've probably actually saw or met if you've hung around Overboss, or if you've watched any of his videos. And what you'll notice is that Karim is actually one of the ones that sound around 12 or 13 years old. He is definitely not even a young adult. And if you notice, he's always around Overboss. Another one we scammed is also one that appears in the videos a lot, and he is always hanging around Overboss. And now I just want to say, I've heard this person talk when I was scamming him, and I can promise you now, he was definitely not older than 16. And I'm sure if you've hung around Overboss, you would have met at least one of these people. Because like the other kids and people in BWB, they are flocking around Overboss. But the true question is, what draws these kids to Overboss? The last person we actually scammed, I don't think is a member of BWB, but is a very close friend of Piffle's. Now, I just want to say, Mega Nerdy he is a 50, 60-year-old man, don't get me wrong, he is no kid. However, speaking to the person, like, when he speaks, he slurs, he seems kind of disabled when he speaks, like you can't understand what he's saying. It's almost like Piffles is surrounding him with the wrong people. And I believe at Mega Nerdy's age, he might be a part of that.
Sup guys, Norman here, and today we have a special episode for you. There's been some heinous accusations thrown around. I would like to address them. First off, here were some of the messages that were sent. As you can see, pow, on the screen right now, Ghost. Thank you. You can see that this motherfucker was sending Norman memes of him being... Obviously, Norman isn't one of those dirty cretins, but I had to address it in what way I did. So I said to the guy, yes, You've sent a meme and it said free candy on the side of the van. So I was lightheartedly was just saying, you know, that's a spelling mistake. It's meant to say free puppies.
Now what you've seen there is Overboss's most recent video of a really pathetic attempt to defend himself against these hundreds of pedophile accusations he's been receiving. Now first off, as we spoke earlier, he is still acting and speaking like a child, trying to get that attention. And now, if any other regular person was accused of being a pedophile, that is definitely not how they would try and clear their name. However, at first he was claiming that he never said anything of the sorts through any PSN chats, which is the screenshots he's showing. He's trying to say that he has said nothing whatsoever, but now the story has changed. At the end of the video, he had finally admits to something. However, he describes it in such a way and twists it in such a way that people will think nothing of it. Now, after saying some very bad things towards children, he was questioned about it. It's definitely not something to be joked about, especially when you're being accused by hundreds of people. And the weird thing is that he claims that he said it was a spelling mistake, but as you can see, he didn't say anything of the sort. So in retaliation to all of the memes people were posting about him on Facebook, that was his response of all things. Now I've put on screen just a handful of the things people were making and posting on Facebook about Overboss Piffles, based upon all the information we have and the way Piffles acts. And this is not me trying to insult him personally, but from all the recent videos and the things he's been saying, we can definitely tell there is some kind of mental illness there. And a thing you'll notice with pedophiles is that they're not normal people. They don't look like normal people. They're usually always scruffy tramps or weird looking people or weird sounding people, and unfortunately, Overboss fits in all three of those. As well as the fact that not only that, but in this picture he does look like a drug user. You can tell he is very skinny from the picture, as well as the fact that one side of his face is drooping slightly lower than the other, as if he has had a stroke. And if you look very closely, his face is uneven. And you'll notice that his right eye in the corner, it's completely bloodshot. In fact, in all of the corners of his eyes, especially the right one, his eyes are slightly bloodshot. Now, after continuous comments and the things he's been saying and how he acts and how he looks and all the things we've gone over in general, we can somewhat tell that he's very emotionally distraught for the way he acts. It's not normal for a person to act like this and speak like this in YouTube videos, and not just being accused, being a pedophile, but to wake up in the morning and go into a Fallout 76 game chat and start acting like it in front of a bunch of kids. You can somewhat tell if you're doing that every day with your life, there is definitely something wrong with that person. I'm not trying to bully him or upset him or try and get under his skin. I'm just looking at the facts here. Because 100% after all of this, he has definitely got some mental issues, and you'll find that most pedophiles suffer from mental illness. Because I think personally, being a pedophile is a mental illness in itself. And I feel like it takes a mentally ill person like Overboss to become that. And that's why you don't see normal people that are pedophiles. It's always weird, creepy old men. Or like people who are really scruffy and don't look after themselves and they've got a lot going on in their life, like they're mentally ill. Back in the early days of actually knowing Piffles, I did actually manage to scam him after some convincing and some days knowing him. And however, this was before I even knew about the things he was doing and everything that was going on. But what I can say is that I'm glad I did, because personally I think pedophiles should be shot and hung in public. Now the next thing we'll be looking at are the infamous text messages between him and another girl admitting over PlayStation chat that he likes kids. Now I'm sure you've already seen these screenshots and I'm sure that you've already seen them. However, for those of you who don't know, I'm going to show it anyway, as well as the fact on why they are real, and that the image in itself has not been tampered with whatsoever, like he and many of his members are actually claiming. Now, after one of my friends harassed him and basically exposed him to all of his members, he got very upset with that. So we decided to add her to a group chat and obviously say what he stated above. Now, for all you people defending him and saying, oh, he didn't actually say he likes kids, let me tell you something. If he's saying, so what if I'm attracted to kids? It goes to show that in that burst of anger, to have to add her to the group chat, he lost all sense of care and slipped up in anger. Now, for everyone saying that this is photoshopped and edited, and I just want you to try and make a Photoshop like this, because it's a lot harder than it seems. Now, in this picture, you can see that let's look at this from a point of view where we are trying to decipher whether or not it's a real image or not. So the first thing we're going to look at is the font. Now, PlayStation uses a very specific font. All the A's are the weird dictionary A styles, American style, as well as like all the characters match up to the font that PlayStation uses, because there are thousands and thousands of different fonts and how skinny a letter should be and the size of a curve on an A, to the minute detail on the font. It is the exact same as regular PlayStation messages. Now, if this was photoshopped and you were trying to Photoshop something like this, the chances of you finding that exact font where it's got all the same letter and all the same characteristics, it's the same thickness, all the letters are the same thickness, and you know it's almost impossible to find. Now, another thing on why this is real is that the lettering in the chat box, in the text message box, in the grey box, the lettering, the whole sentence itself is perfectly centered down to the last pixel. Like, you can use a magnifying glass on any, any picture editing app or, and you can see that down to the last pixel, the lettering fits into the box, the spacing is perfect, the centering is not off whatsoever. Even master photoshoppers, not all of them can get perfect centering like that, and I'm talking people with years and years of experience with Photoshop, because the text is centered down to the last pixel. Now, after realising Piffles had severely messed up with the things he was saying in that group chat, he was in panic mode, and I'll give it to him, it was a clever move. What he did was, he reported one of my messages so that PlayStation Safety would go through the chat and delete everything. However, what he didn't know is that it was too late, because she already had screenshots of everything. Now, unfortunately, PlayStation did not take this seriously whatsoever, and I don't even think he got banned. I think if he did get banned, it was a 1 day or a 2 day ban, maybe a 3 day. But I'm surprised it was not longer because of all the vulgar things he was saying in this group chat. But I guess PlayStation is just useless and doesn't take that crap seriously.
I ain't going to justify the first part, because the first part that was shown in the messages where I was saying Norman's attracted to kids was made up. is not hard to do. I'm going to give you an example right now of how easy it is to manipulate a chat. Lethal has been messaging Norman apology letters. He was offering to suck my sack.
Now, before we start looking at this part of Piffles' video, I just want to say one thing. Now, he's made a Photoshop of a PlayStation chat of a 17-year-old. This person isn't even 18. And Piffles photoshopped it so that the 17-year-old boy is telling him that he wants to suck his sack. Now, I just want to say that is fucked up in itself. All because you're upset again, you've slipped up, and now you've photoshopped an image of a 17-year-old in a chat menu with you, saying that he wants to suck your sack. And now you actually put those messages onto the screenshot. Now, Piffles claims that manipulating chat messages and photoshopping chat messages are really easy. And now you can tell on this Photoshop he's really took his time. However, I can tell in 10 seconds that it is a Photoshop. Now, straight away at the top of the message, the words Lethal Farms are in a completely different font to the rest of the message, which is not normal for PlayStation chat. So what Piffles has actually done here, because he couldn't replicate and Photoshop a real PS chat and replicate it, basically what he's done is made a real PS chat and just stuck Lethal Farms' name at the top. But even in doing that, he's messed up miserably. Now here is a side-to-side comparison with a real message of what happens when you create a chat group and what is said, the font it's used, and the spacing. Now as you can see, straight away you can tell the words Lethal Farms are a lot skinnier. The lettering, the font is wrong. He's used the wrong font. He's tried to have the same font, but as you can see, the lettering is completely different. And the words are a lot skinnier. As well as the fact that he's actually put the time into the box, the message box, and now on PlayStation they do not do that. The time is always outside of the box. The time it was sent, the time the group was created, that is always outside of the message box. That is never inside of the message box with PlayStation. And here, I'm not even going to start on the censoring comparison, because when a chat group is made, they box around what is said. Now, the one that Piffles has made is that there's too much extra space on the end. That shouldn't be like that. And on the bottom, the chat box should be hugging the lettering and everything that's said. However, it's not. It's got all of that extra space on the end and a little bit of extra space on the bottom. Another thing is the space between the name Lethal Farms and created this group. Now, if you look at the BWB Grizz created this group, you'll see that the space between the PSN and the words created this group are they're normal. However, when you look at the Lethal Farms screenshot, it looks almost double in size. Now, Piffles, I've just listed out at least 3 or 4 mistakes you've made on this Photoshop. And I can promise you, you claim it's easy to manipulate pictures, but you sitting there writing all this out and putting Lethal's name on it, it sounds easy, it is easy. However, you've messed up at least 3 or 4 times to make this look realistic. It is so fake, and you can literally tell straight away. Now, going back to the screenshot, after learning what we know about censoring, the PlayStation font, and all of that, you can see that you've said it's really easy to manipulate a picture. Now, I've picked up on your picture in 10 seconds. Now, if this picture is photoshopped, I want you to do whatever you want. Look at the censoring, look at everything, look at the font. To get that perfect, down to the pixel, you would have to be a master photoshopper. with months, if not years, of experience. Because as a video editor, as a YouTuber, you tried your best at editing a picture and you failed miserably. Now that we've learned getting a perfect Photoshop is almost impossible unless you're a good Photoshop artist, and now that we know what we're looking for and what we're spotting in the picture to see if it's real or fake, you'd be able to tell straight away off the bat just by zooming into the picture to know if it was real or not. Now this video isn't perfect. I have rushed it out within 24 hours of him uploading the Lethal Farms video. Now I just want to say that this has brought us to the very top of the iceberg. This is the last, and at the end of this video I'm just going to leave the video at the end and you guys can make your own decision on there. But if you're going to sit there and defend a pedophile, then you're just as guilty in my opinion. So I'm going to put the video up of him in game chat and you guys can just tell me what you think and then you can go from there. And then hopefully it's enough to drive this dirty bastard off the game for good. Trying to, you know, have you ever met Baphomet Babe before?
Yeah.
I'm the one that taught her out. I'll give her my build for melee PvP.
No, decent one. You gone in the vault, yeah?
You know, giving them my build and stuff and telling them what's best to use.
Yeah. Yeah, you should see my fucking PvP build now, bro. It's literally maximised for PvP. No travelling pharmacy, like none of the fucking.
Bro. I ain't got any of the bloody perks. I'm struggling.
Yeah. I can literally fuck kids with my build now, and fuck them in real life.